Okay, Shabbat Shalom. It is Shabbat in this area. I'm going to do my second rehearsal. So if you are part of the if you're part of the Sabbath meeting, the Shabbat meeting for tomorrow, it's probably best that you don't watch this unless you want to spoil it for yourselves. So here we go. I'm going to do the second rehearsal. I thought I had a slideshow. I have no slideshow. So I'm only going to share my screen tomorrow. I'm going to share my screen for the scriptures. Okay, so all right, so my introduction is a little different than I had initially planned. Um, Basically, I'm going to talk about the last two messages I gave were essentially showing you uh, that there are essentially two versions of the scriptures that exist. Uh, Most people know, King James, Restored, NIV, all this other stuff, but essentially, pretty much 99% of those translations, 99.99%, like all of them come from the Masoretic text, the vast majority. But where we see a divergence, where we see those two paths splitting up, is whereas most of the translations are, for the most part, from the Masoretic text, you have another text called the Septuagint. And again, I presented this my first presentation last year. So essentially, what I just want to remind you, so just a quick reminder that uh, in the time of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, Joshua the Anointed, however you want to call him, this is the only Son of the living God. Uh, there existed one authoritative voice of Scripture. That was the Septuagint. Um, and it existed for him 300 years before Yeshua became flesh. And so that's what they were using at that time. Uh, what most people use today, the Masoretic, again, came after he had died by people who were trying to censor uh, and stop the movement of the Jewish people, the Israelites, coming to know Jesus Christ, coming to this belief and this movement growing. So they wanted to stifle that, not just stifle it, but snuff it out and completely destroy it. So um, again, the authoritative voice. I'm just going to write this up. Scripture was the Septuagint. Masoretic text was produced by those who wanted to censor and stop movement of Jews believing in in the in the fact that the Messiah had come. Essentially, Messiah had come. Another point I wanted to make about this quickly. Again, I don't want to rehash everything, but and I showed you three proofs. I showed you three proofs where in your own New Testaments, you can see how it reads very differently in the Masoretic text. There's a clear distinction that what was quoted by the church fathers, using the church fathers, I don't like the word church, but by the New Testament fathers, let's call them that, they quoted from scriptures that are very different from what is in the Masoretic text. So there's a reason why. Again, this because they used the Septuagint, uh, showing you this, so you can read, not read. You can watch this video on your own time. So it's again from last year, I believe, in March, and then I showed you just earlier this year how not only are they censoring the truth about the Messiah, they're also censoring the truth about ourselves regarding human beings and their hearts, how we're not inherently evil and wicked. We're actually deep beyond all things, and the heart is us. Whether we're good, then it's a good heart. Whether we're bad, it's a bad heart. Whether we're a we're a mix of good and bad. Same situation there. And before I end this, I'm going to end the stream because I have to being beckoned. Uh, the last point I want to make before I really get into this is so I'm going to say, yeah, the truth about ourselves has also been tampered with. I don't know. Tampered with, it's been messed with, besides obviously the Messiah. But the other thing I wanted to bring up is, people, I want to drive the point home. I'm not trying to, offend anyone. Obviously, that's what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is to give you an analogy that if I told you that Moses kept the Hillel 2 calendar, can you prove this wrong? Can you prove this right or wrong? And, you can answer, just answer right now in Zoom. So then people on Zoom would say, yeah, of course he didn't because Hillel 2 existed after Moses. And I would say, well, let people answer on Zoom. And then I would tell you, well, the same thing, same situation for the Septuagint and the Masoretic. For the Masoretic, I'll just say the Masoretic, what you guys are using, most of you. And the majority of people do continue to use this because I don't know, maybe it's tradition or just people are just stuck doing the same old thing. And it's hard to just break from that. And you know what? I have to admit, it was actually hard for me to break from it too, until I saw the truth about the Messiah being censored. And I thought, you know what? From that point, it's lost all credibility with me. If you're trying to censor Jesus Christ being Son of God, being the Messiah, and all these other things that I talked about, you've lost all credibility with you. I'm not going to listen to you. It's pretty much like listening to somebody who's Antichrist. It's like listening to someone who doesn't believe in Jesus. So, I mean, why would I listen to you? I wouldn't. Um, so again, the same situation. Jesus existed before it was produced. So that's the point I want to bring home. I'll continue streaming later on. So thank you very much. And I'll probably redo that again. So it's a much better introduction. Great.